Welcome to part 2 of my Gothic 1 video, in which I will talk about the exploration and progression and how the save system affects them. The map in Gothic 1 is quite compact, which accentuates the differences in its landscape, enemies and points of interest. The main three being the different camps, each with their own themes and ambience, which are nicely woven together with dangerous forests, lively riverbanks, and mysterious ruins among other things, all of which you can explore at your own leisure and risk, as Gothic allows you to go anywhere from the start. Other than areas related to the main quest, which require a specific object or a scripted event to progress, there are no invisible walls and no triggers that turn you back, even when there are NPCs deterring you due to your level or blocking your path. You may just run past and explore further. The game is divided into chapters, all of which continue the main quest line, but have an abundance of individual quests and cumulative enemy populations, sources of experience and loot that you will want to squeeze dry because of how difficult and unforgiving the game can be at the start, but also because of how good the progression can feel. This initial difficulty creates a playstyle that focuses on ensuring encounters resolve with the least amount of resources lost by the player, whether health or items. This is fine within of itself, as most difficult games train the player to be conservative and cautious. But in my opinion, the saving system of the game turns this playstyle unhealthy. Unlike in other games where there are checkpoints that trigger autosaves and or you may manually save in specific locations, use an item or perform an action, Gothic allows you to save at almost any point in time, even during combat. Whether a player may prefer this approach or another is subjective, but the more I've played, I've found it to be detrimental to the overall experience. Whenever encountering locked chests or doors, which can be opened with lockpicks, you'll find yourself reloading a save in order to ensure opening them without losing anything, because lockpicks can break, but the combination of these chests and doors is always the same. A lot of combat encounters become an overextended minigame of making sure you take the least amount of damage because you're not about to drink one of the 2 potions you have. When you're exploring an area and get caught off guard by an overwhelming force, there is no fear of dying and losing the progress you've made to get to that point. Sure, after encountering skeletons and orcs at low level, hearing a weapon drawn triggers your PTSD, but you just save and try anyway, because dying just sends you back 30 seconds, diminishing the tension of certain moments and encounters. The save system is responsible for reinforcing a min-maxing mentality in all of these examples, breaking the natural and, in my opinion, intended flow of the experience. Furthermore, while the difficulty of the game is quite steep at the start, it quickly goes down by the end of the first or third chapter, depending on how you play. And so a min-maxing playstyle, coupled with the fact that the difficulty doesn't scale as quickly as the power level of your character, essentially means you can become unstoppable quite early in the story. This abrupt reduction in the difficulty of a game could make it boring and possibly turn off people from playing it, but luckily it's not the case in Gothic, because as unnecessarily complicated that initial struggle can be, every point of experience, every learning point, every piece of magical ore and piece of equipment is earned with tears, blood and sweat. So when you reach your final form as the jump one-shotting menace that the valley knows you as, it's directly because of the steps you took and the time you dedicated, and you deserve to savor and enjoy every second of it. Becoming godlike in games is quite fun, and Gothic executes this journey almost flawlessly. But because I like the game so much, I see the lost potential of tweaking and adjusting the saving system to the gameplay provided. It sounds like it would make that initial period even more difficult, but I believe it would instead smooth it out by redirecting the player's energy and encouraging them to take progress and setbacks as they come, making the journey more enjoyable, less repetitive, just as satisfying, and overall more freeing. To me, that is how the game was designed to be played, and had the saving system been adjusted, players would still be compelled to do their best, but without the temptations of abusing it, they wouldn't worry as much about breaking a lockpick, picking every single mushroom that they see, or using an item to heal after taking damage. This is the way that I played it last time, and it turns out even if you don't worry about collecting and preserving as much ore and items as you can, you still end up with way more than you would ever need. So eat that cheese and those mushrooms, use that scroll, break those lockpicks, and ignore those meat bugs even if they give you 10 experience. I think it's clear that I have a lot to say about this game, and it's for a good reason. I'm sure if you've played the game, even if you agree or disagree with my opinion of its systems, you're quite passionate about it. But if you haven't played it at all, and these 2 videos made you consider trying it out, I hope I've been informative and entertaining enough for you to give the game a chance and make up your own mind about it. But for now, talk's over, Tio out.